Hello and welcome back everyone to the Salt and Light series where I restart my brand new, mostly blind rescue horse Maelynn and take you along for the ride. This video covers week 1 where Maelynn starts to get used to being handled almost daily again. Please forgive my state of dress in advance. It was the first cold front of the year this day and I chose function over fashion to still be warm enough to go outside. And here, as we get started, you can see me call Maelynn and her respond and get a reward. This pattern was the first one to be instilled in her paddock, for her to seek me when she hears me using positive reinforcement. I do this with all my horses, as I'd rather right off the bat be attractive to them rather than deterring. To me, it is important that my animals see me as their caretaker, and the first association with that is food. Also, on a humorous side note, no one likes chasing horses down when they have things to do, so giving them a solid arrangement to be caught definitely helps keep things smooth and moving along. If you watch closely here, you can see Maelynn's hesitation to be let out of her safe home environment, which is a behavior that started for her after she lost most of her eyesight. Maelynn will freeze and plant her feet when she is worried about moving forward, which isn't too terrible of a behavior, although it did take the better part of an hour when she first arrived to lead her to her new paddock because of this tendency. I don't blame her for this, and instead of putting a ton of pressure on her, which would make her more worried, I'll wait and reassure her with a soft touch until she settles enough for me to ask lightly again for another step forward, and whatever she gives me from there is rewarded. Maelynn has been handled and led by humans her whole life, so this isn't a problem stemming from a lack of understanding, nor does it come from a place of unruly defiance. And in either case, it's better to be kind and patient with your horses. Maelynn is a very sweet girl, and I feel blessed to have such a beautiful, kind soul as an addition to my life. The main challenge so far that I've been working with her on is her confidence in the everyday. Maelynn was already trained. It was going blind that caused her to lose her confidence being handled every day. Because of this, what she really needs is time and gradual confidence building within a routine that reminds her of what she already knows. When thinking of a plan to help a horse regain their confidence, taking baby steps is usually best. When you push too far, too fast with a horse that has confidence as their main challenge, you can almost certainly end up going backwards in progress rather than forwards. So again, it's best to be patient and kind while you work. I decided to start with the very basics of handling and set up a routine that would not only feel familiar to her as a former riding horse, but also be rewarding and bring some feel-good feelings back into the picture over her anxiety. This amounted to taking her out, leading her to the tie area with a bucket of alfalfa pellets waiting to be eaten, and then grooming her fully before putting her back. While this may seem small, Maelynn had lost so much confidence from going blind, she was reluctant to be led even the small ways from her and Blank's temporary paddock to the tie ring on my trailer, which was next door to it, by the way. The alfalfa pellets give her an immediate reward and a purpose to being brave, as well as a distraction and a constant source of dopamine, while I used grooming as a way to get her reused to being touched all over again and blanketed. Consistency breeds confidence, so the more we did this, the more confident she grew with the routine. By the time I filmed this, she'd improved a lot already. Another factor that needs to be paid attention to involves what attitude I had while handling her during these sessions. Proverbs 11:17 states, "Those who are kind benefit themselves, but the cruel bring ruin on themselves." I can't help but think that this verse speaks directly to not only our everyday lives, but what we do with our horses as well. If I had gone to Maelynn with an attitude that wasn't solely focused on her well-being, that is, if I worked with her from a place focused on my reputation or ego, or used punishment to try to move her along in training faster, the trust-building part of my work with Maelynn would have been damaged, and sometimes that can be damaged irreparably. Consistent kindness encourages softness in both horses and humans, and what kind of attitude you put into the relationships around you tends to be what you also receive back. So why do I work blind horses at all? I believe that blind horses should be given the opportunity to go back to work for the betterment of their health and well-being. It is healthier for horses to get regular exercise and mental stimulation throughout life than it is for them to sit in a pasture, so if they physically can, they should. In general, domestic horses do not get the exercise that would be considered required for their species within human-made environments without human interaction. I do not stall my horses and keep my horses in as large an area as I can offer them, but I still know that most of the day they stand around with each other either eating or waiting for their next meal. Very rarely do they themselves choose on their own to move enough to keep their musculature fit, as it is considered. Both people and animals that go out of their way to get regular exercise have been proven to have lower stress levels, better mobility, less tendencies to develop arthritis, and they live longer. Granted, there is a balance in this, as there is all things. If you overdo it, you can damage your or your horse's bodies. But overall, the way society is set up, neither us nor our animals get enough exercise unless we seek it out, intentionally. When our equine partners go blind, I have found most choose to stay in a walk in the pasture, which is safer for them, but with a human, a blind horse can also trot, canter, and get real exercise with a rider guiding them safely in their environment, and even from the ground on a line. They also get more mental stimulation, as working with humans by design will give the horses puzzles to figure out, or new experiences, or both. To top it off, a horse that is in consistent work or is familiar with it confidently has a much better chance of a safe and long, happy life than a horse that has never been worked or can't be worked confidently anymore. I have seen many blind horses go back to work in various areas, such as trail riding, dressage, and even as therapy horses. There are plenty of them out there, it's just most of the owners of these horses aren't broadcasting publicly. I think the more we get the information out there that blindness does not have to be the end, the better it will be for the horses that do go blind. In a perfect world, blindness wouldn't be an immediate death sentence for a horse, but a call to adjust and for us to grow as horsemen and horsewomen and as people, respectively. Then again, perhaps what we need to shift our perspective on blind horses isn't a perfect world, but for us as humans to grow. To become more steadfast in the love of our horses and the people around us through the ins and outs and challenges of life, and to become more kind and patient with others. A little more godly behavior, a little less us. Well, that's all I have on the agenda for today. Hope everyone watching has a beautiful one and gets to go enjoy their horses. Have a good one.